There is this idea that I was introduced to. It is one of the most shocking ideas that exist out there. Imagine that most of the suffering that you're going through is imagined suffering. And one of the biggest causes of imagined suffering is idealism, because it looks like it's the right thing to do, to be idealistic about things, but you could be suffering a lot because of idealism. In this video, I want to break down this idea of idealism and how it could be why you're suffering, and an alternative way of thinking that could help you avoid putting yourself under unnecessary suffering. My name is Dennis Mboro. This is Digital Strategy and Marketing. I'm the founder, and here we help entrepreneurs with unique ideas to articulate them and present them to the market so that they can be able to be well understood by customers, as well as sharing personal development content and personal branding to help people become the best versions of themselves. Idealism is the idea. Idealism essentially is the idea that there is a perfect future and that everything that is happening today should align to that perfect future. This future is based on the person who is thinking about it. So different people who are idealists will have different ideas about what idealism looks like. The first person who is an idealist that comes into someone's life is their parent. When you're born into a broken world by people who have made a lot of mistakes, and more often than not want you not to make their mistakes, and therefore parent you with the ideal of how you're supposed to turn out. And that informs the amount of pressure that they put you under when you're going through school, to behave and pretty much to conform to what their idea is. Many times, conflicts arise between children and their parents because they see that the ideals that they are pushing on them are not the ones that they follow in their lives. But parents do feel justified to push their ideals on their children because they believe that they are going to be the best decisions for them. The danger with idealism is that it is based on the assumption that your idea of the future is the best idea. It takes away the context of everything that happens around you and puts you at the center, with the imagination that if everything was corrected according to your perspective, then everything in the world would be all right. There are many people in this world, and if they all share in that idea, that means that there is no way that we can arrive at one ideal world that captures each and every person's imagination. When you find yourself following the ideals of a person, for example, a parent, there gets to a certain point where you realize that in as much as you have received all the ideals, or you have followed all these ideals, the reality is very different from the ideal. And that is what leads to a sense of frustration, because what you are promised would happen when you follow a certain path is not what you experience when you get there, in as much as you have everything that you need, or that you think you need, to address the issues that you're facing at that point in time. You will often find that for families that were not initially educated or did not have a very strong educational background, or maybe the parents were illiterate or semi-literate, they pushed their children to go to school. And that was good. They go to school, they succeed, they get all the best grades. But when they get to the market, they realize that the education they have is not sufficient for them to become successful. There are other skills such as risk-taking, taking, such as risk taking, problem solving, and many other things that they require, networking also, and many other skills that are not taught in school that they require to achieve the success that their parents actually promise them or that their parents want. Now, in that situation, you get confronted with the idea that idealism is something that does not actually exist, and that there is no one time that an ideal environment is ever going to be reached. Because when you find yourself taking on ideal, when you get to a state that looks like what was ideal, you realize that there are many other things that are required, and then you find yourself on a constant cycle of pursuing idealism, and life always seems to be enjoyed in retrospect. That means when you look back, that is when you realize that you had a good life, but you didn't notice it because you are always pursuing the next thing. You are always trying to create this ideal existence that never actually existed. And that now becomes the cause of your suffering. Looking back, seeing that you never took all the opportunities that you required, looking at the present and realizing that you are inadequate to achieve the ideal future that you want. And anytime you take a step, you realize that there is more that is required for you to arrive at that ideal state. Now, what do you do about it? To get rid of this idea of imagined suffering, it is important to change your thinking about what is perfect and what is ideal. The mind always likes to think about ideals. But what if what is ideal is what is happening in your life right now? What if what is ideal is present around you, but you just are not noticing it? And what if you utilize what is ideal around you to continue growing, to have a better existence from moment to moment to moment, and to enjoy each and every step as you continue to grow in your journey to becoming the best version of yourself? That is to say that in as much as you may find yourself unemployed at one point, you may have more time to focus on yourself. If you find yourself in a situation where you don't have a lot of financial resources, then you have a time to sit back, reflect, look at what you have been doing, and to correct so that you can have a better future. And that way, you can actually start to enjoy the benefits of making those decisions to change your life by continually making improvements each and every day and enjoying it along the way. That means if yesterday you are not able to save anything and today you are able to save 1 shilling, that means that your life has changed significantly because you have actually changed and corrected course. And if you continue like that over a long period of time, then you'll find yourself in a totally different environment where you will be living a much better life, enjoying it, enjoying the retrospect, and looking forward to the future. That is how you deal with this idea of idealism and translate it from being a weakness to being a strength. That is using your mind's focus on progression to the present so that you can continue to grow and progress and enjoy each and every day. If this has sounded very complicated, please share in the comments how maybe the questions that I can answer to simplify it. If you agree, go ahead and share this idea with people who are struggling with idealism. And as always, if you love personal development content, ensure that you subscribe to this channel because this is where we share ideas for the purpose of liberating people. Thank you very much. Until next time, bye-bye.